What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. Starting off this market watch with a pop real quick. Black Friday is the first ever USA release of the Funimation exclusive Beerus pop, besides the metallic from Comic-Con. This was going for about $100+. You get it for $25 shipped. I think there's no way it won't retain at least $40 to $50 of value, despite this reprint. It's one per person, but if you have family members to help you order for you, it's great to get a couple of these for yourself, so you keep one per collection and a couple to sell. They call them flippers and pops. They hate people who do it, but it is what it is, because you sell pops so you can get more pops, and then you keep getting pops, and that's just how it is with Funko Pop. So if you like those, there you have it. I think that's a really good one to get. DBZ line. I know there's a lot of collectors that'll watch Market Watch that enjoy DBZ and enjoy this. That's the main reason I'm shouting this out. But if you're trying to get into pops, it's super hard to ship them. You've got to bubble wrap them, make sure they're safe. The package can get crushed. So doing it for profit can be pretty risky if you're inexperienced. So I wouldn't suggest that. But for everybody who's looking for the Black Friday release from Funimation, it's already up. I'll post the direct link down below. Site is super laggy. It will be crashing on you, but the direct link should help you get there the fastest you possibly can. Spell Shattering arrow is up. I can see this mainly for people who play Trick Stars against other decks because it does damage. Destroy as many face-up spell cards your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. Magical Spring would be the other card people are kind of running that's similar to this against Pendulum Magicians, mainly because they can't use their Wisdom Eye anymore. It kind of locks them in place. You get advantage off it instead. I do like the Spell Shattering arrow a little more because it takes away the scales from the player, and it takes away the Star Pendulum Graph at the same time. So their Time Pendulum Graph would have to activate there, but if you're going second and you just activate this, there goes their scales. They have to have a Magician on board, and a lot of Pendulum players end up going Baguska, not leaving a Pendulum in the main monster zones, a Pendulum Magician monster. So for Trickstar players especially, because of the burn damage, I do like this call. I've seen it in a couple of Top Cut lists as well, and we see that it is sold out to the point of about 15 here. It's actually more on eBay. Always check both, but TCG player winning this time, 1750. So a complete buyout for the most part. There's 8 total listings here. There's not so many sellers here. 2, 4, 6 sellers, some with multiple copies, but most with just one. I, again, think its best use would be in the Trickstar side deck if you fear the Pendulum Magician matchup. That extra damage boost can be pretty nice. Next up, the Eye of Timaeus seems to have been rebought out. I don't know how long it's been up. I recall it being 18-ish, but its market price says 13, and it's at 24. It originally tanked once again, thanks to those structure decks coming out with the common reprint, but this is just over doubled from the last time I personally looked at it, but doubled since the market price. I'd kind of peeped it as it was going to 18, but now it's like 24, 25, and the Ultra is still sitting below market price, and the brand new common sitting at like $1. 27 for Los. The seller has 2 before it's at about its market price of $2. The always check both rule says that it is actually 24.25 on eBay as well. Just so few sellers. 12 available here for the secret, 11 here. So if you have this and you've been waiting for it to go back up to sell it, it's headed there. Not the worst thing. It has multiple versions, and for this price point, I personally would be letting it go, but there's no telling how high this will go once again. Remember, this was originally a $50 card before it ever saw reprints, and now this is the Dragon of Legends version. There's just a ton of collectors that love Dragons of Legends stuff, and I could see why this has gone back up. But who knows how long it will stay up or if it will ever go down. Again, it's just a crazy thing. I don't have a personal thing to tell you. This is the collector's market, and the collector's market has been going crazy, but this is a newer set for collectors rather than your old guaranteed LOB tournament pack, the championship pack, that sort of stuff. Now, another new card that has gone up is Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse. This was very low earlier. I know this thanks to VCTRFS. I wouldn't have known this card without him, and it is at $17. Now, this makes sense on the buyout a little bit because the BA stuff is getting hyped so much, but this will go down very quickly, and we already see that on eBay. They didn't even bother getting this Canadian seller's $10 one. Then it's 14, 15, 18. Very, very, very quickly cooling down. And this, I did not know this was actually a solid $1 dollar rare. What I mean by solid dollar, if it's less than $1 on TCG Player, it'll usually be less, because on eBay everybody lists things at $1 because of the stamp, and everything, but you have to buy enough on TCG Player to make it worth the stamp and fees and shipping. You usually have to spend $2 or $3. I think it's $2 now, but I'm not 100% on that. I haven't bought in a while where I would have to worry about that. But it's a solid dollar, because otherwise it would be at like 35 cents or 50 cents. So that's pretty interesting to see there for the rare. But the ulti is really getting up there. I personally think it will fall down, but again, I see why it's gone up. Kagamusha, I think was, I told you guys, it would go up, but I don't think there would be many sales on it. It's up to $9 from $6, not the biggest jump. Again, the new 6 Samurais don't, I think, play this card at all, but some variants will play it to Snapby. Snapby's still an amazing card, but I think a lot of the new variants don't concentrate on this at all, as they have all those new tuners. But we do see it holding the line at $9 on TCG Player, as well as eBay at $8. Not as much up on eBay because there's that one seller, but then it's $9 and then $10 very quickly here as well. Again, I think this was just a targeted buyout, thinking of, oh, the new Samurais are out, this will be hype. I think this will quell down. It may keep going up from here, but it will quell back down eventually. People just love 6 Samurais and 6 Samurai cards. It's got a lot of fans. A lot of people just love that deck. Spiral's not moving at all despite 17 slots out of the top cut. I feel like a lot of players are just gonna wait this one out, and that's what's happening here. I feel like it should be going up, but instead it's actually gone down from last night with 82 available double helixes. People really just don't want to play this deck, and it's crazy to me that that much dominance at a YCS after such a huge fall really does it. Robbie Cole told me that he feels like it's the regional effect, in a sense that people don't want to pay so much for a top meta deck and then go to regionals and get stomped, and that this deck performs best at YCSs throughout the entire field, because at regionals it just seems like it's getting stomped. But it is a pretty decent portion of the regional tops too. I feel like this and Trickstars are the most two, followed by Pendulum Magicians, and then just all sorts of rogue at regionals. It's open season at regionals for tops, but at the YCS we saw it really concentrate down. So I feel like Spirals should be headed up, but they're just staying to where people really don't want to play them. And we see Super Agent here still sitting at 10. Let's check out Double Helix Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's check that out real quick, and let's give it an Ian for good measure. Looking like it is starting relatively higher. Yeah, it's actually much higher on eBay, so people are really trying to get rid of them on TCG Player, it seems. The Trickstars are budging up. They aren't exploding up, but as you see, $4, a little bit above market price. This is at $3. It's at $3.50 now. I do like the Trickstars a lot as a call for something that could go up. The second most played deck, but people really hate this deck too. People actually, it's like a burn deck, but chain burn. Like, people who play chain burn really love playing it, and everybody hates playing against it. That Trickstar reincarnation combo, people really hate having it happen to them and or get really disgusted with it, but it's still really good, like when you're pulling it off. But this got hit in the OCG, I could see it getting hit in the TCG, so that's why people might be staying away, and the fact that people hate playing against it might edge them away from playing with it. But the deck does show some consistency overall. Candina, 1800 Stratos, you know, Light Stage gets Candina, helps you get rid of back row decks. And the rest of the deck's relatively low, but I would get my Light Stage and Trickstar Candinas now if I was considering playing them. Yes, we don't have any events on the horizon, but I think this will be the kind of deck taking over the regional scene along with Spirals for the most part. And on eBay, it's up a little to $3.85. It was like $3 last time I showed it, and I said get yours now. $3.50, $3.50. So they're up, they're trickling up, but I think that's going to continue. With Spirals, I would think they would be going up, but I don't know what's happening. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, the super rare. We saw this a ton at the event, but people already had them from zoo format, so it's not like people needed to rush out and get them, but there's only 23 available to note, and there's only 4 gold rares available, so really fighting to keep down near its market price, because these are just getting kind of snapped up, and there's only 18 ultimates as well. There's just very low quantities of the Ghost Ogres, but there's 75 results for the super on eBay starting at 10, actually under 9, near mint. or not under 9, under 10 near mint before it jumps all the way to 11. It's actually just crazy the kind of differences that Ghost Ogre's having right now, but you pretty much need this card like Ash Blossom to have access to in your side, if not your main. I think most lists have this in there somewhere. Being able to do it to double Helix so they can't continue to build the board so that it doesn't have a link marker to summon to is really huge. Another card that we saw a ton of play with was Psyframe Gear Gamma. It's still sitting near its market price of 20, not really going up. People who had them had them. I don't feel like people are rushing out to get this. And there are a total of 14 different sellers here and 17 sellers here. Still a low quantity of sellers, but the high price is kind of keeping it from getting bought out, which is nice. So you have your time to consider buying this. If anything, it will go down over time, but during this current format, I don't see it going down much. Droll and Lockbird, however, is kind of still hanging in there. It is at $26.50, budging a little above its market price of $25 for the OP. The STBL is still very much up there too, and we see $25 here as well before it starts heading towards $27. Only 14 sellers for all listings, 13 if you take away that auction. The fake one makes it 12. Very few Droll and Locks around, kind of the most expensive part of playing Trick Stars, but something that other people side deck as well for certain matchups such as yeah, I got the True Dracos. You side this in against Spirals. It seems like this might be going back to a lot of people's decks as Spirals dominate. And finally, I would get rid of these now. I'm just saying Seraph Knight, if there's an Ultimate Brilliant Fusion, I feel like other pieces have to be in there. I don't feel that Konami might, you know, ignore Seraph Knight, but it's the Super's crept all the way up to being back near the DT. Anytime that happens, you know something wonky's going on, especially with 50 available here, 13 available here, and then it's cheaper on eBay at $12.50. I would just be getting rid of these. Look at the high quantity, 65 results, yet it's holding this price doing nothing in the meta. I personally would get rid of these before the OTS pack. If you really need them, get them back after. I just have a hunch. I have a feeling that, you know, if there's an Ultimate Brilliant Fusion, at least Garnet's going to be in there, but I would super think Seraph Knight would be in there. And the final card that I would say to pick up right now, with Spirals 3 taking their dominance, we saw this a ton in side decks and top cut lists, starting to peep up before that E-ban. Book of Eclipse Super is sitting at $3 with 26 available. This card saw side-ins a lot, and the Shatterfoil version is super hard to get. If you remember Necros format, it was a lot. So I would consider these two versions of Book of Eclipse personally. Getting it right now, the commons won't really bust up in my opinion. They're sitting at about $1 still though, so it's a solid dollar common. But the supers being, you know, only 3x the common, I would definitely consider having my super playset right now. There's something that I'm not personally picking up since I've got to fix my AC unit, but you guys who might want to hollow out your side decks and techs, consider it, because I think Book of Eclipse is a way better card than Spell Shattering Arrow as a whole, and it's got only one really nice printing, and then it has its Shatter Foil. So thanks for watching. What did you guys think of today's Market Watch? Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I had a good time looking at the crazy stuff. It seems like a lot of the buyouts are directly influenced by YCS San Diego, but we'll see where that goes with the meta and how Spirals and Trickstars start to move. With the Pendulum Magicians didn't really move at all either from what I'm aware, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Money had suggested Cock-a-Doodle-Doo. It budged up on the JOTL version, not really budging up much on the regular version, but it's still not a bad call as a card to get now while it's cheap. So you might want to peep that as well. Get it? Cheap, peep. Alright, enough from me guys. Thanks for watching.